Boli by K.A. Abbas.
Khaja Ahmad Abbas, also known as A.K. Abbas, was an Indian film director, scriptwriter, journalist, and a novelist in Hindi, Urdu, and English languages. He was born on 1st June 1914 in Punjab. Some of his famous books are The World Is My Village, The 13th Victim, and The Distant Dream. He was awarded the National Film Award for the Best Featured Film. He was awarded Padma Shri in 1969. He was died on 1st June 1987.
Characters of story Boli.
Lekha, also known as Boli, the fourth daughter of Ramlal. She is very simple and foolish girl, hence called Boli. Ramlal, the father of 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. Ratha, the eldest daughter of Ramlal. Mangla, the second daughter of Ramlal. Chamba, the third daughter of Ramlal. Her teacher, very loving, affectionate, and patient teacher. A teacher with all real values. Miss Hamarnath, a well-to-do greedy grocery. He is as old as Ramlal, but wants to marry Boli.
Bode is a story written by K.A. Abbas. This story revolves around a girl who has accident faults and diseases in her childhood. She was rejected by all because she was not very good looking and intelligent. Her turning point in her life was her school. Her teacher gave her learning and self confidence. Later in the story, Boli has to accept a marriage which was unequal match, but she rejects when she sees her father pleading to a bridegroom when he demands dowry. The story shows the rise of a girl against social injustice.
Boli is the story of a village girl who was discriminated as she had pock marks on her face, stammered and was considered to be a simpleton. Boli suffered an attack of smallpox when she was just 2 years old. She damaged a part of her brain when she fell off from the cot. Education transformed a dumb cow into a fearless and courageous girl. First she agreed to marry an unequal match, December, just to maintain the honor of the family. Her father, Ramlal, put even his turban at the feet of the greedy bridegroom. He accepted to marry a girl with pockmarks only after getting 5,000 as dowry. Boli showed the courage of throwing away the ceremonial garland into the fire. She refused to have a mean, greedy, and contemptible coward like Bisambarnath as her husband.
Let us move to the story Boli. Her name was Sulega, but since her childhood, everyone had been calling her Boli, the simpleton. She was the fourth daughter of Nambardar Ramlal. When she was 10 months old, she had fallen off the cot on her head and perhaps it had damaged some part of her brain. That was why she remained a backward child and came to be known as Boli, the simpleton. At birth, the child was very pretty and fair, but when she was 2 years old, she had an attack of smallpox. Only the eyes were saved, but the entire body was permanently disfigured by the deep black pock marks. Little Sulega could not speak till she was 5, and when at last she learned to speak, she stammered. The other children often made fun of her and mimicked her. As a result, she talked very little. Ramlal had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters, and the youngest of them was Boli. It was a prosperous farmer's household and there was plenty to eat and drink. All the children except Boli were healthy and strong. The sons had been sent to city to study in schools and later in colleges. Of the daughters, the Radha, the eldest, had already been married. The second daughter, Mangala's marriage, also had been settled. And when that was done, Ramlal would think of the third, Chamba. They were good looking, healthy girls, and it was not a difficult to find bridegrooms for them. But Ramlal was worried about Boli. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. Boli was 7 years old when Mangala was married. The same year, a primary school for girls was opened in their village. The Tahsildar Sahib came to perform its opening ceremony. He said to Ramlal, as a revenue official, you are the representative of government in the village, and so you must set an example to the villagers. You must send your doctors to school. That night, when Ramlal consulted his wife, she cried, are you crazy? If girls go to school, who will marry them? But Ramlal had not the courage to disobey the Tahsildar. At last, his wife said, I will tell you what to do. Send Boli to school. As it is, there is a little chance of her getting married, with her ugly face and lack of sense. Let the teachers at school worry about her.
The next day, Ramlal got Boli by the hand and said, come with me, I will take you to school. Boli was frightened and she did not know what a school was like. She remembered how a few days ago their old cow Lakshmi had been turned out of the house and sold. No, 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 she shouted in terror and pulled her hand away from her father's grip. What's the matter with you, you fool? Shouted Ramlal. I am only taking you to school. Then he told his wife, let her wear some recent clothes today, or else what will the teacher and other school girls will think of us when they see her? New clothes had never been made for Boli. The old dress of her sister were passed on to her. No one cared to mend or wash her clothes, but today she was lucky to receive a clean dress which had strung after many washes, and no longer fit champa. She was even bathed and oil was rubbed into her dry and matted hair. Only then did she begin to believe that she was being taken to a place better than her home. When they reached the school, the children were already in their classroom. Ramlal handed over his daughter to the headmistress. Left alone, the poor girl looked about with fearless eyes. There were several rooms, and in each room girls like her squatted on mats reading from books or writing on slates. The headmistress asked Boli to sit down in a corner in one of the classrooms. Boli did not know what exactly a school was like and what happened there, but she was glad to find that so many girls almost of her age present there. She hoped that one of these girls might become her friend. The lady teacher who was in the class was saying something to the girls, but Boli could not understand nothing. She looked at the pictures on the wall. The color was fascinating her. The horse was brown, just like the horse on the Tahsildar had come to visit their village. The goat was black, like the goat of the neighbor. The parrot was green, like the parrot she had seen in the mango orchard. The cow was just like their Lakshmi, and suddenly Boli noticed that the teacher was standing by her side, smiling at her. What's your name, little one? Bo, Bo, Bo. She could stammer no further than that. Then she began to cry, and tears flowed from her eyes. In an helpless flood, she kept her head down as she sat in the corner, not dare to look up at the girls who she knew were still laughing at her. When the school bell rang, all the girls scurried out of the classroom, but Boli dared not to leave the corner, her head still lowered. She kept on sobbing. Boli, the teacher's voice was so soft and smoothing. In all her life, she had never been called like that. It touches her heart. Get up, said the teacher. It was not a command, but just a friendly suggestion. Boli got up. Now tell me your name. Sweat broke out over her whole body. Would her stammering tongue again disgrace her? For the sake of the kind woman, however, she decided to make an effort. She had such a smoothie voice, she would not laugh at her. B, 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 she began to stammer. Well done, well done. The teacher encouraged her. Come on, now the full name. Boli. At last she was able to say it and felt relief, as if it was a great achievement. Well done, the teacher patted her affectionately and said, put the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like everyone else. Boli looked up as if to ask, really?
Yes, it will be very easy. You just come to school every day. Will you come? Bolly nodded. No, said aloud. Yes, and Bolly herself was astonished that she had been able to say it. Didn't I tell you? Now take this book. The book was full of nice pictures, and the pictures were in color: dog, cat, god, horse, parrot, tiger, and a cow, just like Lakshmi. And with every picture was a word in big black letters. In 1 month, you will be able to read this book. Then I will give you a bigger book. Then a still bigger one. In time, you will be more learned than anyone else in the village. Then no one will be able to laugh at you. People will listen to you with respect, and you will be able to speak without the slightest tremor. Understand? Now go home and come back early tomorrow morning. Bolly felt as if suddenly as all the bells in the village temple were ringing and the trees in front of the schoolhouse had blossomed into big red flowers. Her heart was throbbing with a new hope and a new life. Thus the years passed. The village became a small town. The little primary school became a high school. There were now a cinema under a tin shed and a cotton ginning mill. The mail train began to stop at their railway station. One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, then shall I accept Bishamber's proposal? Yes, certainly, his wife said. Bolly will be lucky to get such a well-to-do bridegroom. A big shop, a house of his own, and I hear several thousand in the bank. Moreover, he is not asking for any dowry. That's right, but he is not so young. You know, almost the same age as I am. And he also limps. Moreover, the children from the first wife are quite grown up. So what does it matter? His wife replied. 45 or 50, it is no great age for a man. We are lucky that he is from another village and does not know about her pock marks and her lack of sense if we don't accept this proposal. She may remain unmarried all her life. Yes, but I wonder what Bolly will say. What will that witless one say? She is like a dumb cow. Maybe you are right, muttered Ramlal. In the other corner of the courtyard, Bolly lay awake on her cot, listening to her parents' whispered conversation. Bishambar Nath was a well-to-do grocer. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for the wedding. A brass band playing a popular tune from an Indian film headed the procession, with the bridegroom riding a decorated horse. Ramlal was overjoyed to see such pomp and splendor. He has never dreamed that his fourth daughter would have such a grand wedding. Bolly's elder sisters, who had came for the occasion, were envious of her luck. When the auspicious moment came, the priest said, "Bring the bride." Bolly, clad in a red silken bridal dress, was led to the bride's place near the sacred fire. Garland the bride, one of his friends prompted Bishambar Nath. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigolds. A woman slipped back the silken veil from the bridegroom's face. Bishambar took a quick glance. The garland remained poised in his hands. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. Have you seen her? Said Bishamber to the friend next to him. She has pock marks on her face. So what? You are not young either. Maybe, but if I am to marry her, her father must give me 5,000 rupees. Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Bishamber's feet. Do not humiliate me so. Take 2,000 rupees, no 5,000, or we go back. Keep your daughter. Be a little considerate. Please, if you go back, I can never show my face in the village. Then out 5,000. Tears streaming down his face. Ramlal went in, opened the safe, and counted out the notes. He placed the bundle at the bridegroom's feet.
On Bisambert's greedy face appeared a triumphant smile. He had gambled and won. Give me the garland, he announced. Once again the veil was slipped back from the bride's face, but this time her eyes were not downcast. She was looking up straight at her prospective husband, and in her eyes there was neither anger nor hate, only cold contentment. Miss Hammer raised the garland to place it around the bride's neck. Before he could do so, Polly's hand struck out like a stake of thunder, and the garland was flung into the fire. She got up and threw away the veil. Pidaji, said Boli, in a clear, loud voice, and her father, mother, sisters, relations, and neighbors was glad to hear her speak without even a slightest stammer. Pidaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man. Ramlal was thunderstruck. The guests began to whisper, so ugly, so shameless, and so ugly. Boli, are you crazy? Shouted Ramlal. You want to disgrace your family? Have you some regard of our Izzat? For the sake of your Izzat, said Boli, I was willing to marry this lame old man, but I will not have some mean, greedy, and contemptible coward as my husband. I won't, I won't, I won't. What a shameless girl. We all thought she was a harmless, dumb cow. Boli turned violently to the old woman. Yes, Andy, you are right. You thought I was a dumb, driven cow. That's why you wanted to hand me over this heartless creature. But now the dumb cow started fool is speaking. Do you want to hear more? Bismillah, the grocer started to go back his party. The confused Banson thought the end of the ceremony and struck up the closing song. Ramlal stooped, rooted to the ground, his head bowed low with the weight of grief and shame. The flames of scared fire slowly died down. Everyone was gone. Ramlal turned to Boli and said, But what about you? No one will ever marry you now. What shall we do with you? And Shulega said in a voice with calm and steady, Don't you worry, Pidaji. In your old age, I will serve you and mother, and I will teach in the same school where I learned so much. Isn't that right, ma'am? The teacher had all stood in the corner watching the drama. Yes, Boli, of course, she replied, and in her smile eyes was the light of deep satisfaction that an artist feels when the contemplating the competition of a masterpiece.